Hello everybody, this is a tree I haven't shown before. It's a Beech Vegas sylvatica. I've had this tree about 2.5 years, maybe 3 years now. When I bought it, it was about 3 foot tall and almost as wide. That's about 3 foot's about a metre. In new money. All I've actually done to it is some fairly big chops to kind of bring it back. As you can see, I've had some reasonable healing. Got a nasty scar here which hasn't healed very well. A little bit of reverse taper. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to correct that. As you can see, it was chopped here, another big chop just there, another big chop just there, just to try and bring it down in size. I was attracted to this tree when I saw it because of the fantastic movement. It was in the pot to about here. I was quite pleased when I discovered it has some nebari, and I quite like the surface roots on this side of the tree. It remind me quite a lot of some of the beech forests where I take Coop for a walk, but don't have much at this point on this side, and I'm not entirely happy with these roots here. Fortunately, if I come down just under the surface of the soil here, I have some roots. Don't know how well you can see that growing out. Obviously you need to thicken up quite a bit. But I've been looking at this tree and I actually feel that the angle is wrong. Planting angle is wrong, and I'd like to see it more at that sort of angle, and possibly turned this way slightly, or maybe that way slightly. This tree has had no refinement work done to it, as you can see by the size of the leaves. I'm still keeping it alive and keeping it healthy, and I'll be working on this tree in the spring. I'm going to keep thinking about the planting angle. I do know I want to bring these surface roots up. I do believe that the tree needs to lean over this way some more. A little bit unhappy that there's not a lot of taper. There's some nice movement, but not a lot of taper from this point. And obviously this branch needs to develop a lot more to compensate. This branch is quite out of proportion at the moment. What I'm going to do now is remove these leaves so I can actually get a better look at the structure of the branches. So I'll do that and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've defoliated it, and then we can have a better look at some of the branch structure. I had actually wired out this section here, and unfortunately I do have some scarring, but hopefully that will heal over the years to come. As you can see, I'm beginning to get a little bit of ramification, though I haven't really done very much work towards that at the moment. This tree is going to need some wiring. You can see this branch is quite ugly at the moment. Possibly bring this back round and lose that part. Similarly, this needs to be bringing back into some sort of alignment, and I'm really not sure where I'm going to go with this back branch. This scar is particularly bothersome at the moment. There is some reverse taper, but maybe that I might decide to lose this branch altogether in the future. But I will leave it on for the health of the tree for the time being. I'm not going to do any pruning at this stage. I will leave that till I repot in spring, and when I've chosen the angle that I actually want to plant it at. Something's going to need to be done at the top here as well. I've got a bit of dieback just here, so maybe have to choose a new leader. I'm really not sure. That bud doesn't look right. Either it's beginning to swell because of the mild weather we're having. Something's wrong with it. But I'll keep an eye on it over the winter and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've been looking at this tree for a while, and just now I made the decision to remove this top portion of the tree, which Coop is waiting for, and he will probably demolish that. What I'm going to do is wire this branch into place, and hopefully that will give me a better taper. I'm still not sure about this branch. The impulse is still to cut it back. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. Gone. It's still really too thick, but I'm not going to lose it yet. The temptation is to just cut it off, but I'm going to leave it for a while and maybe cut it off next year. Okay, so that's the top branch wired into place. There's the new apex. Probably ought to remove this piece of wire at some point, but I'm a bit of a Scrooge. I might reuse this wire. So I still envisage the tree being more at that kind of angle when I repot it in the spring. Okay, well, the impulse struck again. I put the camera down before I could change my mind, and I've removed that large branch. I'm hoping that because I've cut it back quite a lot, I will get some back budding in this area. We will see. I'm gonna do a quick carving to get rid of this lump and put a bit of detail in here, and we'll see how that looks once I'm done. Okay, so I've a small amount of carving just there to hopefully make that into a more interesting looking scar, and the same at this point where I removed the top. I have a very bare patch in this area. As I say, hopefully it will rebud, backbud even, in the spring. I'm going to leave this tree alone now until spring, when I'm going to repot it at its new angle and let it grow and see where we go. Okay, so it's the middle of March now, and I've had this tree propped up on the bench. As you can see, pot is mangled to give me a better angle on the tree, which I'm actually got very used to now, and I'm comfortable that is the angle I want. So the next thing I'm going to do now is get it out of this compost to get at these roots that I want to grow and expand, and get it into something else. So I'm going to get to the soil off the roots, and then we'll come back and see the pot it's going into. Okay, so there we have the roots combed out, and as you can see, it is a very one-sided nebari, but I do have potential with these roots. They're quite small at the moment, but they're all on the same, or more or less on the same plane as the roots on this side, so I'm not really going to touch those that much. I'm going to shorten the ones on this side back, like so. We do have some quite large chunky pieces which we can get rid of. If we look underneath, let's put the camera up. So some of these larger pieces underneath I'm going to lose. But for the most part, on this side of the tree, I just want to give these an opportunity to grow. Now, we'll take that piece off. Okay, so the tree itself is going to go to this large pot, and I'm going to put it right up in that corner, even though this will be the new front. Give these roots the opportunity to grow and expand in that direction. So it's just going to be a question now of filling it in, getting the planting angle where I want it. Maybe a bit more under that side of the tree, I believe. Have a look. Yes, quite a bit more. That's better. I'm going to plant this side deeper, raise this side up somewhat. The roots on this side will hopefully go out, take up all the space that I'm giving them. taken up to give me a more balanced nebari in the future. Down between all the roots. This looks lopsided, uneven, not very good in terms of a trained bonsai. However, I think keeping these roots confined to the edge of the pot there, along with giving these room to grow, will give this tree the best chance of developing those small roots into a decent nebari. Over the next couple of years. I'm going to give that a drink. Out of the bottom. Okay, so that's almost it. Today. I am, however, just going to shorten this branch very slightly and take off a couple of buds that are essentially shooting backwards towards the trunk of the tree. Let's see if I can get this up onto the turntable. Well, is this showing up? As you can see, can you see? The camera's really not cooperating. We have some crossing branches just there. Again, a bud that's going straight up, in fact slightly back towards the trunk. Same there. I think apart from some trunk cleanup, I'm going to get my trusty old toothbrush out and clean some of the algae off the trunk and branches. I'm just going to let this tree do its thing for the next couple of years, really. Maybe some top pruning as required. And there we go, that's the sort of final view of this tree for now. I think I've got the angle more or less where I want it, with the exception of this, which I think needs to now come a little bit more that way. Yes, I think that looks better. Okay, there's a quick 360. Obviously this will need some work to refine on the scar at the top, but let's build the nebari, get some health and vigour into the tree, and then worry about those things. That's it then. Thanks for watching.